Hi, Brother Francis.
Good morning, Sister Michelle.
I just love you to death. It's so good to see you in the mornings.
Well, it's good to be awake and alive.
Yeah, the alternative means no more taxes. So, we know that we're going to reincarnate. So, there you go.
Always coming back.
Let's hope that we only come back at the very least 5 more times. Maybe we'll be high enough conscious, which is why we're doing the program that we're doing. The have you got your Akashic wish list ready?
That's right.
And I
That's
wanted
right.
to bring this to everybody's awareness, what the importance of this is. And you agreed to do it with me this year. I'm so thankful for that.
You're welcome.
We don't get to we work together side by side, but we don't always get to pull together a workshop. So this is going to be, I think this is our first, isn't it?
This is our first, and I think it'll be the first of a series.
I think you're right, because we work well together. We've tried to do it before, but we never could. I don't think it was the right time, right people, but we got this.
Yeah, well, now's the time. There's so much important things happening, and we are here to help people find a means and ways to stay on track and let that higher consciousness self come in. If not, you'll wind up living by default.
And that's why I do this workshop every year, because we go for our spiritual review. A lot of people don't realize this. A lot of people don't understand it, but October 31st, when the veil between the worlds is very thin, we go back to the Akashic record for ourselves, our own Akashic record, and we review 1 year up to 5 lifetimes to see where we're at on our destiny and what we need to manifest spiritually and where we need to go with this. And a lot of people do not realize the value of this.
Well, how does one know that they are crossing the border and going into the Akashic records? Are we, I know some of us are conscious. I've known over the years that I always wake up in the morning and I know, like, I was somewhere, and because my train of thought changes, but many people may not know. Is there a way that people can know that they're doing that?
There is. And one of the ways that we bring it to our awakened self, the one part of us that aren't sleeping, is if we look to see what happens around this time of year. So August, September, October, we're winding down projects. We're thinking about changes. For my own example, I graduated from massage school October 31st, and I started basically my new life November 1st. So a lot of endings coming in August, September, things winding down September, October, and a lot of new beginnings start to happen November, December, and January. So we thought it was always about, oh, we're planning for our new year, but I'll give you some examples. I remember going to sleep one night on Halloween, and I had written my list of the things that I wanted to remember to go back into spirit so that I could, change some things, because our human self knows so much more than when we're awake than we do. Our human self knows what the human side needs. Our spiritual self says, do you really need money? Because that could take you off your track. And, how much is too much and how much is enough? So I went to sleep that night, and I remember I was 42. I remember the ambulance came for me that night. And I said, I'm not leaving. And they said, no, really, you wanted to go. And I had been very sick, hadn't been diagnosed with celiac yet, but I had blisters everywhere. I was so exhausted, so traumatized by celiac that I didn't realize it. I said, no, I've decided to stay. I'm going to stay. And so the ambulance left. The next morning, I had a completely different mindset. It so empowered me to start finding out about my health. And it took me an additional 5 years to realize what it was that was going on in my body so that I could bring healing to it. And in that time, I started changing spiritually. and growing even more. When I was in Toronto, I spent 6 months up there. I was coming back in December, but in November, I was standing in my closet, somewhere around November 15th. I was standing in my closet and I looked around and I was trying to figure out, what do I take back to New Mexico? And all of a sudden, I hear this voice say, pack what's important because you won't be back for a while. And I thought, what are you, crazy? I've got this boyfriend. Everything is going well. The life is good. Pack what's important. The voice told me outside myself. So it was my guide, Raven, telling me, you need to get your act together. You're going back. And I didn't know why. And when I got back, I started writing the classes in metaphysics, which gave birth to Resonant Essentials, which gave birth to you and I connecting. And when I met you, you were just another affirmation that where I was going was this great change in my life. And I wasn't just going to be retired. I was going to reopen the consciousness of the church that I trained in, the spiritualist church that I trained in, and be able to offer these things. So those are some of the ways, by recognizing the changes of your life in the patterns that happen right between September, December of what we're working on, which is why I wanted to team up with you, because 2024, 2025, we all know we're in the middle of the Great Awakening. People's consciousness is shifting and changing. Some people are saying, oh, I'm so far up there. I have all these gifts and I have all this stuff. But what do they do with it? Where's their path lie? Where is their destiny? So you can have all the gifts and joys and fruition coming for you, but where are you going to apply it? And how do you consciously mesh with the higher self in order to make it pan out here on earth? And that's why I wanted you to come in, because you're going to be doing the numerology with it.
Well, I'm going to be doing numerology and meditation.
That's
Everybody,
true.
this is a 2-day, you can't take one day, it's a 2-day workshop. So you actually, the first day, which is Saturday, September the 30th, I'm going to talk in a simplistic manner how to use numerology. What does your birth date number mean? And what does your destiny number mean? You're going to learn that on day one, and how those two are very important. That's my meta key, metaphysical key number one. Metaphysical key number two is meditation. You're going to learn about the importance of meditation, why you should be meditating every day, not every other day. It's like, what I've learned over the 50 some odd years of doing meditation. I remember some of my friends from college who are psychologists, psychotherapists, they tell their clients, the day you don't feel like coming to therapy, that's the day you're supposed to be there. So
Right.
in studying meditation, the day you don't feel like meditating, your shadow side is about to show up and you need to be in meditation to meet up with that shadow side and discover why it's there so you can make proper changes in your life. Then day two, which is October the 1st, we're going to look at your personal year number, because that's what you need to know is the key for, and I'm going to give you your personal key numbers that will be from now to 2023, 2024, and hence at 2025. So you have some kind of direction right there in front of you. And then we're going to have a blast. I have a special guided meditation. It's really short. That's going to connect you to your higher self. And then we're going to find your higher self so you can have that connection.
And that is the part I love, because if we have this direction, we talked about this, if people have that formulated direction combined with how I teach, how you eliminate all the drama and you talk in the present moment, and how we literally make our list and what we need to do. There's a whole procedure in order to watch, because this is a month-long process. Mm-hmm. It doesn't end November 1st when you wake up. You've got to pay attention for the next month so you can take advantage of how you're doing this. And there are tricks to this, not tricks, but there is procedures.
Right.
So let's use me as an example. If I came to you in this course and I said, Brother Francis, help me figure out where I'm going. So using my personal year, my life path, what would you tell me I need to focus on in the next, for the rest of 2023 into 2024, 2025?
Right.
Because
So
you are like the man when it comes to numerology.
look, my late sister-in-law used to say, every time I look at you and I ask you what time it is, you're going to interpret the numbers. I didn't ask for that. Just give me the time. So,
You know what? I know this for a fact because anytime we go anywhere together, you are going blah, blah, blah. You even told me my daughter's house was an 11. My house is an 11.
yeah. And that's why Max is so comfortable.
But the funny thing is my street address is a 13. Resonant Essential street address is a 13. I'm an 11, and Resonant Essentials, the center is an 11. So there you go. I mean, I'm just double down on.
And I'm in there because my residence adds to a 4, but there's a 13 in there, and my apartment number adds to an 11. So, but here's how I would do it, how I would actually teach it in the class. So I would tell people you have to know the numerical number that represents the month, the numerical number that's the calendar date that you're born on, and then this current year. So for instance, this year, 2023, when we added up those digits, you don't even have to put the 0 in there. It adds to a 7. Well, who's the 7 good for? If you're born under the 7th sign, that's Libra. If you're born in the 7th month, that's July, such as yourself. If you're born, 7 is also like an influence of Pisces a little bit. So if you're a Pisces person, you're going to do well. But the water signs are going to do well because it's a water ruled year. So Scorpio's water sign, and then you have, of course, Cancer, and then you have Pisces. Those are the 3 water signs. All they have to do is pay attention to what their purpose would be. So when I take your 7 month, add that to 18, so people don't get lost, I says, just add those 2 first. That's a 25, which is a 7. Now you add that to the 2023 universal year number, that was a 7. 7 plus 7 is 14. 1 plus 4 is 5. So on this year, 2023, your birthday, you started a 5 personal year, and 5 represents communication, it represents freedom, and the big word is change.
It has
Now,
been a changing.
see, 5 could be smooth changes because it's change. See, last year time prior was a 4, and that's sporadic changes. That's like where chaos can set in and confusion and people acting out. But when you move into a 5, and here's something unique for you this year, 7/18/2023, all the way to 7/17/2024, it's a 5 personal year. I always tell people all eyes are on you. People are beginning to watch you, see what you're doing. They're getting inquisitive. They want to come out and network with you. You just have to be very particular about who you do the networking with. Okay, because that's, you could be in a 5, but 5 could mean that sometimes people could be all over the place. You don't need that. You need people who are highly focused and are good at articulating, because 5 is a communicator and a messenger. Now, when your birthday arrives next year, you'll be in a 6. And 6 also means all eyes on you. But now 6 is in the spectrum of community. So I would think collaborative ideas will flow better next year than they are right now. Right now, people are trying to find out who they are still. And what you're doing is you're creating a stronger base. That's what you've been doing. You've been making, see, what people would understand is that Resonant Essentials, if you get it, the word resonant, it means to resonate with, to radiate. You can't hide behind a rock here. You do have to come out and you do have to show yourself. You have to shine your light when you're at Resident Essentials.
Yeah.
So that's vendors, other teachers. Don't be shy. Share your wisdom, because that's how you got to where you are now. Wisdom was shared with you. Okay, so that's that nature of the 5, and next year is the 6. That's for 2024. When you go into 2025, you will hit the 7. And the 7 is, now some numerologists will say, oh, it's about perfection. No, it's about finding you, solidifying yourself stronger, because after that, you have a chance to bust out of the blocks.
Boom, baby.
Boom. And 7 is not just perfection, is the ability to have introspection, to go within and connect with everything that's around you. Good-hearted people, kind-hearted people, you'll be able to connect with. That's what's happening now. You're getting, bringing in, like the woman that's coming in, she's on the crest of that with you. That's unlocking that door. Folks, who knows, in a couple of years, we might have Greg Braden sitting in here talking to us.
That would be awesome. We already have Patty coming in tonight, so there you
Yeah,
go.
yeah. So
We got
this
some
is
high,
the
heavy hitters.
direction. This
Reverend
is,
Bill came in.
yeah. So this is how things start gravitating. When you understand what your personal year number, it's easy now to gravitate toward things. But no matter what you're going through, we all understand. I always say this in my podcast: as you change, so does your purpose.
Exactly.
You know, I was with someone like a week ago and they got mad at me. You changed. You're supposed to. If you don't
Because as
change,
you
you don't
radiate,
grow.
as you bring that power in, you radiate it. And that's what our goal is in this workshop, is to help people radiate their light so that they bring forth more truth for themselves. And the more
Right.
truth they hold, the better they're going to be for other people. And this is what's going to get us through the next 2 years of this great awakening. They can choose to sit in the closet. It's okay. We don't mind.
Mhm.
But we want those people who are ready to make a shift and a change. We want to be there for them.
Well, you know, we have, without many of us realizing it, our entire lives have been leading up to this without even
Right.
being
Exactly
consciously
right.
aware. But when you're on your path, and I know for myself, I used to ask myself this question about 15 years ago. How come, how come I'm not out there? How come I don't have a platform? How come I
You
don't have
don't
a
lie
stage?
about who you are.
And you know what? The spirit of my mother came to me and says, because I've been training you your whole life for this moment. You cannot work for others. You're not meant to do that. The struggle, you'll have your struggles working for yourself. But I bet you when you go home and cut that light off to go to sleep, you're gonna go like, I'm glad I'm doing this for myself.
It's,
It's so
and
much better.
I think that's what a lot of people are feeling now, which is why I really wanted to make this one a powerful one. I think I see a lot of people struggling with, I know I'm supposed to do something. I need to make changes somewhere. And changes are scary. Sometimes as we evolve and our light grows, we leave people, places, and things behind. I left
Mhm.
behind a boyfriend and what I thought was going to be my rest of my life. I came out of retirement because I was called to do this. If we don't know enough to listen to that or to take control and start creating with that energy, we're doing ourselves a disservice and setting ourselves up for more roadblocks.
Yes, and you know, one of the things that's very important, people, and I do this, and I know Michelle does this. I've been in her car, we'll roll up to Starbucks, and she'll just say it, you know, when she feels comfortable. She said, "Yeah, I got a." They said, "A what? I have a center. A what? What is it called?" And she just says it. She is planting a seed. Each one of us is a farmer, a spiritual farmer, and we have to get into the habit of planting a seed. I tell you, every time I'm in Uber, My Uber drivers, they're all metaphysical people or want to be. I said, this is cool. And I give them a card.
Absolutely. We should be talking, we should be sharing, but we should be coming from a place of authenticity, not
Yes,
from where we think we are, but from heart center.
yes. All my meditation classes are heart centered. When I used to teach Tai Chi, it was heart centered. People said, well, I'm not learning this. I said, I'm not your drill sergeant. I'm not here to bark out instructions. I'm here to get you to laugh at yourself, and then I can take you to the next set.
I remember when I was training, I showed up, and again, this was another um, change in my life that happened September to October and then changed in November, was when I ended up at the church. I remember my mother, I tell this story, people don't believe me.
Mhm.
I've always had my gifts. I didn't have abject control of them, it takes a while, but I always had my gifts. And my mom was like, let's go get readings, because my mom was always looking for a husband. Well, if my mom wanted to go to get a reading, I was going to take her. That day, this woman goes, you belong in here. You have a very high level of metaphysics knowledge, background from your other lives. You're not going to remember this conversation. You're going to let it all go. And one day you're going to be standing in here and you're going to look around and it's going to click with you.
Mhm.
That was probably September of 1986, 87, somewhere in there. And it was in November, and I know it was November because it was right around Thanksgiving, that I was standing in the church. I'd already joined, I'd already been training, already taking classes in metaphysics in the deeper study. And I looked around and I went, oh my God, she was right. I'm in this place where I met her, but she wasn't there any longer. So we
Mhm.
forget that there are people along our way, people on our path that hedge us. They kind of they get us going so that the people who are supposed to stay a little longer, do a little dance with us, bring forth this knowledge. Like me showing up, or when I met you, I was like, am I crazy? So I went, and you were at Mocha Mug and you were doing readings, and I went in, didn't know you. And I went by Susan Grayson's recommendation that I come. It was in January because it was winter. And I thought, I think I'm crazy. I think I'm crazy. You read me and you said, you're not crazy. Quit thinking you're crazy. And I'm looking at you going, okay, so he's good. This man's good. You need to do it before somebody else does it, because somebody else is going to do it and they're going to screw it up, and they're not going to do it the way you do it. They're going to want to make it all about them instead of sharing the platform, instead of opening the doors for the truly gifted teachers, because you can't teach everything. Nobody
No.
is excels at everything. That's just it. When somebody tells me they can do this and they can do this and they can do this, I'm like, but what are you good at? We can
Right.
all do it a little bit. And the thing was is that if you hadn't said that, it was right there. It brought me all the way from Toronto, leaving that life to come into this, back into this world. And I am so grateful. So thank you for that. If it hadn't been for you, and then I just pestered you to death till you figured I was just somehow connected. I
Yes, she did. She said, so what are you coming by to teach? Huh? I got things to do. Oh, so she was
right.
planting that seed. And my mother Grace on the other side was going like, look, if you don't go, me and grandma will meet you in your dreams and you're gonna wish you had a wet. So that's how that goes. But it's all about really I get animated when I talk about resident essentials. I've been doing meditation for 52 years. I've been teaching it for 49 years. I've been doing numerology for 49 years, dream analysis, tarot, all that stuff for 49 years. And all the places that I've been to from back east to here, I can literally say there's only two places that I enjoyed coming and being a student. Resident Essentials and an old place up in Harlem, New York that's no longer around called the Tree of Life Bookstore. We used to call it the UCLA of Harlem. The people say, I don't see the UCLA. It's the university at the corner of Lenox Avenue and West 125th Street. And when I'm at Resident Essentials, every second Saturday, Ions is in there. Usually I'm there. Why? Because I don't have to be a teacher. I can shut up and be a student.
You know what? And that's it. If you're not always studying yourself, because we still study. You and I have talked about it. We've shared book information. We've written books. We've done the things that we're supposed to do. I'm getting ready to do to finish the draft of my workbook for the Metaphysics Foundations book, and I'm getting ready to launch a certification program. All of these things are important, yes, but I wouldn't be here if I wasn't sitting in meditation with you, if I wasn't taking classes from like Patty tonight or Audrey or wherever I could get classes. Ions, I'm so blessed that they are there because they have some of the greatest speakers that really inspire you and make you think a different way. The astrology group, oh my gosh, we're going someplace together. And because of that, I couldn't be more grateful, which is why, again, this is important for people to really pay attention. I want to get to the part where they know, because I got to get Patty here soon, so I got to start packing up. But it's not this weekend, obviously. It's next weekend, September 30th and the 1st, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. They get an hour break. In that time, it's $107. It's not a lot. You're looking at 7-8 hours of instruction, coursework supplied to you in a way that you learn what it is. But they need to start registering because they need to get you the information on their birth date so that you can have that information ready for them.
Right.
So they need to contact you.
Yes, contact me. They need people, please email me at IAM, not I am Circle of Grace 1. There's a dot in there. IAM.circleofgrace1@gmail.com. You could call my cell phone number, 505-220-2583. And look, you can call me after hours. I will talk to you.
Well, they could put the comment at the bottom too of this video.
Well, I can't see it on my end.
Well, I don't think there's been any comments.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can go over and look. Nope, no comments. That's okay.
But you need to jump on this and act on this because I don't know, some people have one way in which a payment can be made. I got like 4 or 5 different ways. So, you'll be able to make this payment. And look, $53.50 a day.
For 8 hours.
For 8 hours. That's a lot of information that you're gonna, and look, you're gonna be in touch with us. And we love what we do. We enjoy teaching. That's why you see me most of the time I'm giggling. Because I just love to see people show up and get information. And look, see, people think when we're on this path, they think because you step on this path, you are automatically a master. No, you are automatically on the road to become a master, and you're better off knowing that. So it's not about being perfect. It's being present, a willingness to show up. Because if you're not present, then your life is lived by default. That means you're not going to make the proper choices. That means you're going to let the bigger collective news media sway your mind. There are many people who have been on this path, and I'm not going to call any names, but they were well-known people, and they went back off because they got scared. Yet they were trailblazing. Yeah. I've got these people's books. They were trailblazing and then they hit a brick wall and they denounced all of this stuff.
Yep.
Denounced it all. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not denouncing nothing. This is my calling. This is why I'm here on the planet. And these meditation classes, you got to show up on Saturdays. If you're consistent, you'll be like one of my other students. His first name is Terrell. I looked at him one day after 6 months of being in meditation, and his aura was. And what did that mean? That means he was in touch with his higher self. He wasn't sure, but the higher self says, I see you. And now he's a lot clearer. His energy looks clear. Have you noticed when he comes in, he is like clear. That's when you know your higher self is
But he
around.
also takes it home and practices what you teach.
Yes. Yes. And that's important. And when you take this workshop with us, this 2-day workshop, that's what we want you to do.
Well,
when it's all over,
we're making less than minimum wage. I just did the math on it. We're making $6.69 an hour. And we're splitting it. So we're making $3 and
8 cents. So y'all better show up. Mother Grace and Grandma Charlotte will be knocking on that glass to get you out of bed and put you in there.
So thank you, my dear brother. I love you to pieces. I will see you tomorrow night.
Yes, you will.
Because you're going to be part of the dragon class. I cannot wait, right?
I can't wait either.
Anybody, if you want to sign up, if you want to sign up or show up for Patty's class, please send me a message so we have seats for y'all. We've got a few seats left. But more importantly, show up for Brother Francis and I at this workshop to help you move your joy, your life, your destiny forward, help you unwind all the stuff that goes along with it.
Yes. And we're looking forward to seeing you there September 30th and October 1st. Remember, it's a 2-day workshop. You're going to get a lot of information and really will help you out.
All right, guys. Bye for now. See you soon, my brother.
You too.